Mic test number 1. Hey guys, welcome back to Fiona's Universe. Or welcome if you're new, I suppose. Hi if you're new, by the way. Let's be friends. Ew, why was that so creepy? Today, we are going to be doing a video that I have wanted to film for a very long time. Like, we're talking years. Because I feel like I have a strategy for titling my projects that I've never heard anyone else say before. We're actually going to be talking about 2 major strategies in this video. There's one main one and then a secondary one that I use and is very helpful for me. I feel like at the beginning of every video I'm like, I wanted to make this video forever. That's actually the case for pretty much every video I'll be putting out for you guys because I've had this list ongoing forever. I was just waiting for the right opportunity to use it and start AuthorTube, which obviously we have done. I'm currently pre-filming this video and a couple other sit-down videos because I'm going home in a few days and the aesthetic at home is not exactly like this. Not to say this is perfect, but like my room at home is very bare and it's the opposite of this. You can see it in my like past videos from when I was in high school, but I really want to keep things consistent as I can, so you probably will see a couple videos of me there, but for now we're gonna do a couple more of me at this house. I think this will be my second one, so got like 2 weeks more of this like cute setup roughly. Let's get into how I title my projects. I'm not doing this like live or anything with you guys, although that would be fun, but I will show you the process of how I've come up with pretty much every single one of my titles, either way, whether it fits into method 1 or method 2. Method 1 is going to be a lot more in depth. You'll see what I mean once we get to method 2, but essentially I do a lot of my titling in my notes app, which is really random. You can pretty much do this on any platform where you can write on, or like a piece of paper even would work. It really doesn't matter. I also recommend that you do this after you know a lot about your project because it's going to require you to come up with a long extensive list of words, which I will put my own example up on the screen here for maybe partial stars, maybe for something nameless. I've done it for so many different projects. I have the one I did for Project Ring pulled up currently, which you will have seen different ones just for more examples, but I'm going to read this one to you for further clarification because you guys don't know a lot about this project and I haven't talked about it much. I did talk about it in my sharing about all my books video, however, which you should totally go watch because you'll see a lot of these titles mentioned there, obviously, because they're all my books. For Project Ring, it's a very like dark fantasy vibe, so I just like started by making a list as per usual, so let's read it together. So we have vicious, ring, everlasting, bond, connections, ties, links, relations, binding, oddities, myths, legends, fables, fiction, demons, obscurities, curious, and fallen gods. I think I've mentioned in the past that I don't like the working title I came up with for this project, but that's besides the point. Any title is better than nothing, right? And this is just an example. After all, it's fine. But the next step is very simple for method 1. Essentially, you just take that list that you created of words, any word that represents your characters, your world, your themes, random elements of the book, like a raven or a cloud or a lightning. Maybe not those, but you know what I mean. You take that list and you combine some of the words into different combinations. These do not have to sound like titles. They really don't. Hopefully, doing so will inspire you to come up with some titles though. For example, with partial stars, I had one word be stars a lot because there's a lot of celestial themes in that book. And then I also had written partial or like a broken mind, and that's how I devised the idea for partial stars because she refers to herself as a star often. So a partial star, a broken star, you know what I mean? That went hand in hand. For this book, I wanted to give it a sort of a dark twist with like legends and stuff mixed in because it is a prequel to Something Nameless, the fantasy series I've been working on, which explains a lot of the lore. I also have the title of this book be important inside of the book, which I think is always a good thing to keep in mind. It's a personal little touch that I do where I include the title in every single one of my books. I think it's just so fun. But let me share the list of combinations I created with you for Project Ring. We have Vicious Oddities. I actually really like that one. We have Various Myths and Oddities. We have Ring of Everlasting, Rings and Other Oddities. The Tale of the Ring in the Dirt. I like that one still. The Odd and the Fallen, Curious Demons, The Cursed and the Curious, Bonded Oddities, Vicious Bonds. The one I had went with for that was Various Myths and Oddities. I like it because in the book there is a writer of all the dimensions, basically, so he controls people's lives, and he's one of the main characters. The book of his world is called Various Myths and Oddities. It doesn't have a title like the other ones do, but I thought that was cool. I don't know. That one's like kind of working still, but that's how I came up with it. You will still hear me call that one Project Ring, and that's because it's so Project Ring in my head. But let's talk about some of my other books. As I mentioned, I have done this for Partial Stars. I have done this for Below, the NaNoWriMo book I just finished, which you can watch me write in 2 different parts. And then I also did this for Partial Stars, like I mentioned, Something Nameless. I feel like I keep repeating myself. Oh my god. I think I'm going to use this method for Project Princess, which I plotted the entire thing of in a recent video, so make sure you check that out as well to see a little bit about that book. Maybe we'll do it in a video as a continuation to that, and then eventually you guys will see me write the book, which could be really cool. But the reason why this method will work for Project Princess and not for other projects is because method 2 is to actually just have a lightning moment, essentially. It's not just to have a lightning moment, but personally as a writer, I am constantly writing things down in my notes app, including titles. I have an entire note titled Titles Ongoing. That was a hard thing to say, but it's dedicated to titles that come to mind that I jot down whenever they inspire me. This also happens to me with book ideas. I just get them embedded in my brain, and I can't seem to get rid of them, so I just write them down. I'm going to share with you how this method has been effective for me, essentially just writing them down in a bullet list, and then I can pick and choose them based on if I write a short story and I feel like it maybe has to do with a mirror, for example, I can look on here for that as a keyword, which it is included on here. Or if one of my stories has a spooky vibe, I can look on my random list for spooky titles. I also like to sometimes write a little bracket beside it on what I'm thinking of using it for, or a different way I could word it, because none of these are set in stone, they're just ideas, right? I'm going to share this list with you guys. With that being said, I will be using the vast majority of these, so if you steal them from me, I will hunt you down. No, I'm just kidding. But this is not meant to be an ideas video, so don't take them from me, please. Anyway, I have Me First, which would be a poetry collection or poem. Blank on Fire. See, you don't even need to know all the words. Behind Dead Eyes, His Wicked World, Interviewing Stars. Ooh, that one's good. That one's good. Diary of an Introvert, or just Introvert. I almost actually published a poetry collection called that. Twin Flame, What We Do in Darkness, Tongue Holders, Watch Me Burn, Briefly Beautiful. I actually already have a poem called that. Lost Nights, Ascended Souls, Behind Closed Doors, Princess Complex. I kind of love that one. See, it could work for Project Princess, but I feel like it's not it's not a goofy princess story as much. It could be. You never know. Mirrorless, The Safety of Not Knowing, Repressed, Strange Occurrences, Infinitely Blank, which I would do a character's name for that one. I think I'm going to use that soon. I might even use it for the love novella, A Girl Called Love. Whew, that would be good. Various bracket Myths and Oddities. Wow. Okay. It was on there all along. Strange. Loose Ends, Velvet Rain, Forgotten Almost. Oh, also I'm using Loose Ends for a prose collection coming up, so that one's up for sure. Gonna use, most likely. I think I said Forgotten Almost. I like that one. Reminds me of situationships. Gross. Then I have blank / blank, which is funny because I used the 2 slashes for project / below. So that's interesting. Disturbing similarities, an ode to blank, words of other, diary of the dead. I am using that for a short story right now. Dark nothings. I'm using that for a short story collection right now. Limerence and blank. Haven't decided yet. A shadowed guise. Ooh, I love that one. That's one of my more recent ones. And then I have some that I have used, which is mouse in the wall, mirror visits, something nameless, quote the living. Something nameless is on here? Hold up. This is Fiona editing this video, but if you skip back to when I showed the partial stars list of completed ideas, something nameless is also on there, which I did not know until this video. I just think it's further proof to me that something nameless was always supposed to be a thing, because I wrote that partial stars list. It was the first one I ever did when I was 15. Wow. I guess I had that twisted, but I did do a similar strategy literally right here, so I was not lying to you with all of the something nameless books. Okay. I have even more in my random quotes that come to me throughout the day note. It actually is called that. I'm not just being wordy for the sake of it. My favorite one is righting wrongs, but writing is spelled like writing a book. There's a lot on here. I usually transfer them over. An ode to blank is on here again. Dear author. Oh, I love that one. I love that one. A demon of her own. Did I dream you? Mesmerism. Reclaiming purple. That's funny. It never ends. I have been doing this strategy for so long. Forever, both of them. If you get any sort of poetic thought ever, write it down, I beg of you. Or anything like dialogue, any idea, please write it down, because you might think, oh, I'll remember it later when I have my pencil and paper. No, you will not. And also it's important to remember that anything can be inspiration. I'm sure that there were little things that linked me to forming these thoughts. It didn't just come out of nowhere. It's not a miracle, although I do treat them as miracles. But it's not impossible for you to do the same. You must have a creative mind if you are into writing, so I know that you can come up with these just by, taking a walk or, having a new experience. Certain things that people say even can inspire you to come up with titles, but make sure, for method 2, you write them down. And then you might have one of 2 things happen with method 2, which is you can walk into a project with a title that fits, something that you've linked to your list, or the title itself will inspire the book, which is how it happened for me with Saturn's Sun. That title came to me through method 2. I just wrote it down one day. And then from there, Saturn, the character, came to life. The sun, which is, what is his name? Calvin, which is Calvin. It's been a while since I read that book, okay? Is the sun. So it really did inspire the entire book as a whole. The exact same thing happened to me with A Girl Called Love. That title came to me before the idea for the book did, and it turned out to be my favorite book I've ever written. So I would highly recommend letting your titles inspire your work. It also doesn't hurt though to look at your list and match one of them to the story that you're working on. Let's summarize what I've said. So essentially method 1 can be used when you have already started a WIP and you need a title for it, or you have an idea and you need a title for it. That's the one I use when the book is very specific, almost like Project Princess, where I feel like I need to have something entirely new for it, if that makes sense. And then method 2 can be used if you have a WIP as well and you need a title for it and it happens to match, or if you come up with one of those ideas and that inspires the whole book. So it works both ways. One last thought is that you really need to understand your idea and your writing in general to come up with good titles. So I would just highly recommend spending a lot of time at it, and over time, like I said, it will come more naturally and the titles will make themselves essentially. Even when I use method 1, which is often, I just know when I've hit the nail on the head with it. I know when I've matched the 2 perfect words or the 3 perfect words, etc., because it just feels right for the book. If you can picture somebody saying it oh, my favorite book is blah 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 by Fiona Holland or whatever, your name is. Like Partial Stars by Fiona Holland, or Something Nameless by Fiona Holland, A Girl Called Love by Fiona Holland. I love hearing that roll off the tongue, you know what I mean? So that's my strategies. Hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you've learned something new as well, because sometimes titles can be hard. I personally like really estranged creative titles. Says me, I just named a book Below, but it has a deeper meaning when you look at the set of books as a whole, but that's irrelevant at this moment because it's currently only one book. I like to play around with little thematic things that can come up. I like to play around with the title in the book, like I already said. So there's a lot of fun you can have with titles, and I really hope that this video has helped you get some inspiration to title your own projects. But again, I'm pre-filming this, so happy holidays to you guys. Hopefully that's still relevant whenever this video goes up. Thank you so much for all your love and support, and I will see you in the next one. Happy writing! That was a bit messy.